For my oral history project, I chose to interview my grandmother, Carla Roberts. My grandma is my father's mother and has had a huge impact on me throughout my entire life. My grandma is one of the most important people that have helped raise me and have been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. So many decisions I have made in life have been the result of my grandmother. My grandmother was born in 1943 in a small town called Coppell, Texas. She was an only child and was the very first of her family to ever go to college. After graduating from high school in 1959, she went to college and chose to go to Abilene Christian College, ACC, which now is known as ACU. She met my granddad in 1962, her sophomore year, and they got married soon after. My grandfather was a senior at the time, and he stayed here to work as a photographer until she finished school. The first event my grandmother listed as something that shaped her life was graduating from ACC and becoming a teacher. She came to ACC in order to major in education. Educating children has always been one of my grandmother's passions and remains to be something she is very passionate about today. After graduating, she became a teacher and continued to teach for 30 years. Students 40, 50 years later still keep in contact with her. To this day, she still receives Christmas cards and gifts from her former students all the time. Students that she hasn't seen since they were 8 years old. However, they still want to know how she is doing and they want to keep her updated in their own lives. In fact, my grandmother still teaches Sunday school at church every single week because she just loves teaching children so much. My entire life I have listened to my grandmother talk about how rewarding it is to see the aha moments whenever kids finally understand a new concept. I think one of the reasons why I want to be a teacher and why I chose to come to ACU was because she has always told me how helpful ACC was in her career. The second event that my grandmother listed as something that has shaped and molded her life was having grandchildren. In total, there are 6 grandchildren in our family: Jake, Kelsey, my brother, I, and then our cousins Nate and Amelia. The 6 of us have had a huge impact on my grandmother because honestly, since we were born, her life has been almost completely oriented around us. My grandmother never missed a single one of my band concerts. She even came to my driver's ed test to support me. My grandmother has traveled from Austin to College Station for all of the little events in my life, including Grandparents' Day at school and my pageant, in which case I played Pilgrim No. 2 in the 1st grade. When I was in the 4th grade, I decided that I needed a new hobby, so I decided to start learning how to quilt. After I decided to pick up this hobby, as a beginner, I also started teaching my grandmother how to quilt. And then she loved quilting so much that she started taking other quilting classes, and then she sort of passed me up, and now she is the one teaching me how to quilt. My grandmother and I have bonded a lot over the years over making quilts and going to sewing stores and buying fabrics. And she always loves to show me what her new projects are and ask for my opinions on fabric choices. It's kind of hard to say how this has impacted me since I'm the milestone which has shaped her life. However, having my grandmother in my life to support me and quilt with me and just to be a friend to talk to about our passion for teaching has been really incredible. My grandmother has had such an impact on me, from choosing what instrument I wanted to play in the band, clarinet, which is also what she played whenever she was in high school, all the way to choosing which college I wanted to go to and going to her own alma mater. My grandmother is one of my favorite people in the world, and I honestly don't know what I would do without her. I cannot explain how much of an impact my grandmother has made on me. She's caring and loving, and I know that if I ever need to talk to someone, that she is always ready to listen. I look up to my grandmother in so many different ways, and I hope that one day I can be half the woman that she is today.